Hey everyone, Arnold here with Overland Explorer Vehicles. I'm inside a high country integrated, just taking a look at the plumbing system here. There's a lot going on here. Got the lines coming up through the floor here. This is from our boiler system. So you can see the elbows here clear or opaque, but you can see that the greens, that's your, it's your glycol. So boiler's just heating glycol, and then it's going to be moving that to different areas. So for your cabin air, it's going to move it through basically a radiator with a DC fan on the back side of it. So when it calls for heat via the thermostat, that fan will actually start moving air around the cabin. And of course, for the plate exchanger for the hot water, which is right here, it's your plate exchanger. So you got glycol on one side of that, each plate, and then on the other side you got your water. So pretty simple. In theory, works very efficiently, doesn't use a lot of energy. With the boiler system, you can run diesel or gasoline through it. This truck is a diesel truck, so it'll be using the same, using that diesel fuel. So what's going on here? Not sure if you can see it in that field of view, but I'm just going to close this door a little bit. Hopefully you can see it. I'll move the camera once we're done. But on the back side of the door here, we do have the plumbing diagram of what's actually happening right here. But I can tell right here, I can see up in this left corner of your view, this one's got the optional Guzzle H2O system. So what you're able to do with that is you're able to, right here, this connection, I'm not sure if you can be able to see this, but pointing down here, there's a winterization or a Guzzle H2O hookup right there. Comes out off of a there's a valve there as well. So if you're hooking up to a stream, you're low in water, you want to top up your tank, well, you can do that. You just line up the valve to here, run the hose connection from here out to the stream, and then right there, this is your suction of your pump. You see with that screen. So you line that valve up, and now you're going to actually be pulling through. So you can start your pump inside the cabin, and it's going to draw water from whatever water source you're drawing from. In this case, it'd be the stream. Let's just assume it's coming from a stream, going through the pump, coming out. We're going to block. It's going to go through the Guzzle H2O system, and then from the filter, there's another valve here. So you'll already have this lined up here before you fired up your pump, and you're going to line it up to the tank. So once it's going to the tank, you're actually going to be filling up your tank. Now your inlet fill on the side of the cabin wall here has a vent. So if you're hooking up a hose just to fill up your tank from a municipal source, there's a vent on that. So just know that if you're going to be filling up the water tank via the Guzzle H2O system and using the cabin pump or the camper pump, don't worry. It's going to vent, and you're going to see, just standing outside here, you'll be able to see when that tank is full, because there's going to be water coming out that vent. At which time you would just, you can block everything in and then go turn off your pump. So back into normal use, you'd have this lined up here for cabin water. It's going to come out of the, it's coming, everything's lined back up to pull from the cabin pump, the cabin water tank to the suction of the water pump. Out from the water pump is coming through, and it's going to go into the filter. It can go into the filter still, and then coming out. And if you got this valve open, it's going to go. It's going to fill up. This is going to go through create your hot water going through the plate exchanger, also through your tempering valve here, or scald valve. That's just another slipstream of cold water to temper the hot water that's coming out of this thing, because on this plate exchanger, you can actually really generate some hot water out of there. So we've already pre-adjusted it to what we feel is tolerable. And then there's also this one valve here. We can go to the faucet. Inside the camper, there's a little tiny faucet that's up on top of the sink, and that's just dedicated for water that's going through the filter, actually from the tank. So you can be using this, you can use filling from a stream, purify it going through the Guzzle H2O system, 0.5 micron carbon filter to help with the taste, and then through the LDDC UV light to kill all the bacteria. And then you can do it again. You can actually run it through there one more time to go through that to the faucet on top of the counter. So it's a pretty simple system. It works quite nicely. Just to winterize everything, people ask about that. Same winterization or if you're filling up out of a stream, or with the Guzzle H2O system where you want to winterize, it's the same location. So you're going to hook up there's a plumbing line that we supply, hooks up to this valve. The other end goes into a jug, 4-liter jug of plumber's antifreeze. Line up your valving, and you just start running things. So you'll turn on your pump, and you're just going to go to every faucet that you have. So in your shower, your hot and your cold, into your taps, your kitchen, your hot and cold on your main tap, on your J handle. And then also don't forget about your purification coming off the H2O or the Guzzle H2O. You can also do that again. I should back up. One thing you might want to do before you winterize is just pull this filter out, this carbon filter, and then put the enclosure back together. That way you can run the plumber's antifreeze through there. You don't have to worry about contaminating your filter with that. And then once you run through everything, your shower, your outside shower, your inside shower, all the taps, hot and cold, everything's deemed winterized, at which point you can put everything back to normal. Your water tank, just make sure it's drained. That's this orange handle here. You're just gonna, it's closed right now, up, open it up, and it just drains out the bottom of the camper here. And you're pretty much winterized. And then to do to reverse it, it's just the reverse of that. So you're going to fill up your water tank because you've emptied it. Make sure this valve is closed. You'll discover quite quickly if it is or isn't. And you'll be able to, once you get a full tank of water, that you can actually draw from and clean all your lines, push all the antifreeze out of all the lines, start your pump, and just make sure all your plumbing alignments, your valves are all aligned correctly, and just keep cycling all your valves in your shower, your outside shower, inside shower, hot, cold at your sink, your Guzzle H2O spigot up on the sink as well that's dedicated just to that. Keep running it till it's perfectly clear. Once it's perfectly clear, then you're finished. And then with the Guzzle H2O, you can come back, remove this canister. And to remove this canister, it's going to be full of water. So you just got to be very careful. Lay out some rags here and just gently unscrew it and gently move it down and out. And then you can put your canister in and then put your enclosure back together. And that's it. Not much to it. Pretty simple. We try to keep things as simple as possible. User-friendly is very, very important. So, got any questions on winterizing this or any of our other builds, just let us know. I'm just going to bring this camera out real quick here. I want to show you the schematic on the back side of the door. And there it is. There's also an electrical schematic up close to the electrical system inside the camper. That way it's easy if you got to do any kind of troubleshooting. Got any questions? Reach out to us. Happy to help.